That's right, it's Tactical Tuesday. My name's Russell Pearson and welcome to Tuesday Tactics. Today we're going to be talking about time versus money and when to use those strategies depending on how they are delivered, whether it's time versus money, depending on where you are in your business. Now, I've talked time and time again about energy because all we have in our business is energy. It's the energy of the founder, it's the energy of the person who's driving the business that's going to keep that business going. You know, they talk about 4 out of 5 businesses going out of business, but what I've found through the 25 years of experience that I've had is that that doesn't tend to be the case because of some financial hiccup or because of something going wrong in the business outside of that founder, the managing director, the person who's driving that business just running out of energy and at the end of the day giving up. So we've got to be very careful about where we use our energy because we've got the energy that we've spent in the past, which is the money that we now have. We've got the energy we're going to spend in the future, which is time, and we all have that limited amount of time. So the question today is when to use that energy and how to use that energy. Because we're all reaching different points of scale within our businesses. Some of us are starting out. Some of us are actually reaching toward maybe an area of our business where we want to step back from actually running the business. And there's everyone in between, right? So there are different times that we want to use one marketing activity, one sales activity versus another. And that's ideally what we're going to be talking about today. So it really comes down to a number of different things. There's the old adage that I had, and I'll draw it up on the board, around what is the process of business. And the start is that you've got to get cash in the door. At the end of the day, if you're not getting money, if you don't have customers, then there is no business. So the first step is to get customers, get money in the door. Now that's great, and that starts the process. But what ends up happening is that you're really busy getting all this stuff in the door, and then suddenly you've got to fulfill. All right, so then you need to get people. You need to either get people to fulfill it or you need products to fulfill it. They're both P words, but you need to actually get these things done, and then you're sort of focusing over here in this people and products area of the business. And then what you find is that because of the scale, suddenly it starts getting a little out of hand, a little bit crazy, right? And then that comes down to systems. And so we move to systems, and then once we've got the systems in place, things start to calm down again, and we can focus back in on scaling our growth. So it keeps going around this cycle, around and around and again. And what I'd like to think of it is in 3D, if you were to plant this down, it starts off like a little cyclone that just keeps getting wider and wider and bigger as it builds up. And that's how I think about the process of business. And depending on where you are in this cycle, that's where you should be deciding, am I going to be using my time or am I going to be using the money that I've actually created? So at the start of a business, we have nothing but time. We don't have customers yet. We don't have any of these other problems. Everyone's, for some reason, a lot of people go and they focus on the systems and they start building out the systems instead of actually focusing on the income. And by building the systems, they think they're preparing for this flood of sales that's going to come through. But the reality is, if they haven't got a system to get the sales, there's no need to get a system to actually handle the fulfillment and all the other things that come with it. So sales is really the key to any business. It's the lifeblood. It's the thing that's going to give energy to the business and allow you to grow in the first place. So that is definitely the place to focus. So when we're starting our business, we've got nothing but time. And so there's certain things that we can do allow us to make it easier to actually get new customers on board. So if we're doing, for instance, advertising, we're going to cold audiences, we're going to people that we've never met before, our conversion rates will tend to be lower, all right? Which is a harder sale to make. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't work. They absolutely work. But if we're starting our business, really the idea is to focus on those things that are going to get higher conversion rates. And at the end of the day, the things that give us higher conversion rates are the one-on-one interactions. That's really the highest level. It's when we have a one-on-one conversation with someone, that's the highest level of conversion that we're probably ever going to be able to get. So at the start of our business, it's going to be things like networking. It's going to be things like having coffee meetings. It's going to be things like networking and actually getting out there amongst it and actually talking to people. But once we get to a point where suddenly we've got a lot of work coming in and we're actually starting to focus on getting the people in, we haven't got as much time to be doing those time-consuming sales pieces. And so we've put people in place. We start to put people in to do those same sort of things. Now, funnily enough, those people are never as good at converting as the person who founded the business or the person who's most passionate about the business. It's very rare that you actually find people that are better than the business founder to actually do those conversions. But if you can find them, fantastic, and it does happen. So that you start focusing on actually attracting team members into work with you. And then from there, it's a case of, all right, well, how do we improve those results if they're not getting the same sort of results that we've got? All right, we need to work on systems. We need to work on sales systems. We need to work on marketing systems. We need to work on fulfillment systems. And so that's certainly the area. So right up here, we're working on the money. The money brings in to help us get the people. The people help us get the systems, and the system help us get more money at the end of the day. So I'm going to wipe the stuff off that we've got on the board here and talk about this next step, which is really how to decide what are the things that we can be doing at any one time. Now, depending on your market, and if you haven't defined your market, go and define the market. And the market is, what problems do you solve and who has those problems the most? Who wants to have those problems solved? Wants versus needs. If we're always trying to appeal to people's needs, we're not going to get nearly as high a conversion as if we go and talk to the things that they want. So be very, very careful about that. But we look at, say, our market, and we go, all right, there's a number of different activities for this particular market that we can do. So this is time versus money. Time versus money, to define what we're actually going to do at any one time. So a time activity, all right? So it might be something like networking. So networking is what I'm going to be doing when I have the time available, because it allows for those one-on-one and one-to-many conversations. But when I don't, I'm going to be looking at advertising. Now, what's interesting about these, and while people might be going, well, networking is not anything like advertising, they actually are, because in the process of marketing, there's no like and trust. People need to know who you are to give them an opportunity to like you, to give them an opportunity to work with you, and then trust you for a lifetime of business, right? Networking is a way that people can meet you and get to know you. They don't know you before, they've now met you, now they know you. Advertising, they didn't know you before, they now know who you are, and they can decide whether they want to like and work with you over time. So that's an example. Or you could put on events, all right? So let's say we're going to events, right? So time consuming to put on your own events. You know, you've got to do all the coordination, all the catering, all the different things that go with it, right? Now, there's a little bit of money involved, but the more time you spend, you reduce that cost of money. So that could be one way to do it. Or you could get an event coordinator. So the event coordinator is actually going to take you more money, but less time. So you can then just rock up to the event, do what you need to do. Yes, you spend the time on the actual event, you know, the time frame, which is like 45 minutes, an hour, a whole day, whatever it might be for your event, but you're not having to do all the event coordination as well, which is actually a much larger part of the pie in regard to that marketing tactic. Now, here's another one, referrals. So everyone talks about referrals. There's two different types of referrals when it comes to money. Time and money. So a time-consuming referral is the reciprocity one. So reciprocity referral, and that's the one where the example would be, I've gone and referred someone to you in your business, and then through the law of reciprocity, you're more likely to refer someone back to me. So it's getting a referral giving a referral to get a referral. That's an example of a reciprocity type referral. Another one is a reward referral. And that tends to happen a little bit more on product style businesses and things where people don't have a very strong relationship with you, but you might reward them for a referral. They give a bottle of champagne, give a nice hamper, whatever it might be. I did hear of a business once that would give a bottle of champagne for every referral they received from someone, and because this woman that they knew was a very good referrer, she would receive a case of champagne every single month because of the amount of referrals that she would give. So that's an example of a reward referral, and that's one you can do when you've got more more money versus time. So it's just a case of deciding where you are, because currently right now we're in the silly season. We're just before Christmas. All these things are going on. A lot of us don't have the time, but some of us do, because we've decided we slowed down heading into this season. I'm a little bit crazy right now. So with the amount of appointments on it right now, I'm looking at advertising as a way of actually introducing more people to my world rather than the networking side, because I literally do not have the time to get out there, even though this is a great time for that networking opportunity. So hopefully you can see there are all sorts of different ways you can do it. It's now time to look at, do you have time or do you have money in your business, and what stage of your business are you at? Are you in the building of customers and income? Are you in the actual bringing team and fulfillment around the things that you're doing? Or are you actually looking at the cracks that are in the system and fixing those cracks, improving your systems so you can continue to grow and ever grow your business? So until next time, I hope you enjoyed that. Leave comments below about what you thought of this video and if you found anything really helpful. Until next time, stay passionate, and I will catch you on the next one.